Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. And as usual, as soon as we start this program, you can pick up a telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything. Politics, religion, socioeconomic issues, any topical issue of the day, any issue trending. But most important, you can introduce your own subject matter. So if you want to speak about it, call us and speak about it. We form our opinion on any issue, and our opinions are not cast in stone. They're based upon the information that we have. If we get new information, we change our opinion. We on RealFM 91.9. You find us and you to like and share our program. It's always good to like and share our program and to subscribe to and benefit for the radio program. And we're happy to have you. And today is a significant period in our life. It's the 2nd of February. For Catholics, it is the feast of the presentation of the Lord. Very important period in the life of the Catholic. The Catholic Church kind of work with its own history, you know. So every day you have some particular activity and some particular feast, and it is reflective of the history of the church. I believe families must have their history too, you know. It's an important thing. We have too much of weak families. And when you have strong families, you're able to protect the weaker ones. But today also, we are approaching the 49th independence of Grenada. And it's very sad for some people. Yesterday afternoon, I was in a conversation with a young girl. She was informing me that her boyfriend lost his job. And I say, you know, I'd like to speak to your boyfriend. Because if I'm going to speak on the radio, I want some facts. I want some information that is practically unchallengeable. So this morning, his spouse came in. And he worked with the Ministry of Agriculture Pest Division. And he was involved and he worked for about 3 years now. In fact, this January made him 3 years since he was working. I think they go around spraying and trimming and managing soursop. So it's not very many of them, maybe about 6 or 8 of them. And they are supervised by an agriculture officer from the pest management. I give information because there are some politicos and warriors of the National Democratic is not true. When he loses a person by the hospital, he's been working for 3 years now, and you see the first person who was left the country were the males. For perceived political reasons, the tendency is did not pay him. Up to you. However, the intervention of me well, it did not get paid. They the God, these are the people that in the caregiving of the Democratic Congress. No. So I think you these active and our people in the diaspora, when 3,000 Grenadians, when Broco was castrated, we call Broco name because that case managed to go to court. I understand some of the other individuals, they were so ashamed that they lost their manhood that they have not said nothing to the public. But in Broco's case, the matter went to court. The preliminary was held in Grenville. He was castrated. When police, some individuals' toenails was pulled out. When the Rastafarians, over a number of them, I think it's over 200 of them, was Hopeville. We say Hopeville. The Rastamen say the cow pen. When they was treated in the most inhumane and degraded manner, some of our people in the diaspora was shouting. Glorious function. When the people of Sydney and the other surrounding areas, people were shot. You still had individuals rejoicing. And today we see a pattern, the same thing. If did not chance, it just come. And people must lose their job. And what is the reason you find these people? As I promised not to speak about people in the public service because deacon are public officer. It will be known. Government cannot fire public officers like that because they are protected by the public service and they are protected by the unions. So government can touch them. Government could transfer you if your post a principal of school. When they have a principal of school that they don't like, they normally bring in teachers to undermine them. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good day, sir.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Now, I had to open back today because I just asking the diehards of the NDC a simple question and they can answer me. I told them if RealFM was the most informative station in St. Patrick, the gentleman, what is on RealFM, like Mr. Pierre, Massacre, KBL's guys, is saying what is not true about the Democratic Congress. Come forward. I know you will give them a chance. And bring the facts that what you're saying about the NDC is not true. Because none of them challenging what? Oh, the Lion Deacon. Well, the Lion Deacon and say what? Just bring the facts. So I don't find what they say making much sense because if I say well, me, I must say the truth. So I don't know what really going on. And Mr. Pierre, I remember him when we had bus load of people on the airport. And I just sing the song the voice, you know. We will follow our leader. And the leader come out on the plane. I don't know what plane he had those days. And he said, we have it in the bag, independent for Grenada. Because we are already getting news from Ben Jones and Blaze and the others that we don't get you, Eric don't get you, Eric Gairy don't get you. Ben Jones came very early in the picture and said, all the leader fail, he don't get you with the independent because he don't meet the criteria. And then Eric Gairy come like the hero. I stand on the plane step, he don't even come down the plane step. And he waving, we have it in the bag, ladies and gentlemen, we have it in the bag, independent for Grenada. I think that should be on the company. He happened, and then the independence was the 7th. Somewhere around to independent. And we had it very, very difficult. I was the little boy who bring the string for the Delco to start. McDonald Simon was the man started Delco in your house. Imagine independence went on with a Delco. That will tell you how that man fight. A Delco in your house, big your house where Parliament meet to have independence with Queen representative. We had a Delco. I brought the string for the Delco to start. And Sir Eric said to the Queen representative, his name was Mr. Bicker. He said, Mr. Bicker, the NDC, the juvenile crisis, not the end, has don't war crisis Grenada ever see in his life. It was in night. And I'm kind of I can't forget that, man. We jump on the airport, we sing, we'll follow our leader, we vote in the star, we vote in the star. I can't. We had how much? We had 2 bus loads from Mount Church, 2 bus loads from all about.
Yes,
so
sir.
not now. So that's to tell you what struggle we go through.
Yes, my brother.
Lastly, the NDC must come with a fact that don't just say we lie. You lie, prove you lie about what you say about Deacon. Because if Deacon has done the right thing, nobody can have nothing to say. Thank you.
Yes, my brother, and this gentleman that just spoke was the only student in Grenada. They provide a police for him to go to the school. Because in those days, McDonald's College was one of the bedrock of the politics in Grenada against Gairy. And they beat him up. So Gairy had to send a police in the school to let the children leave him alone. He has always been in the fight in politics. And during the revolution, the day of the revolution, when they come for him, yes, scholar, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome. We lost that caller. Caller.
A question.
Go right ahead.
Hello.
Go right ahead, caller.
Yeah, I'm not we green in a question. Are we better off from June the 23rd, 2022 than from March 9, 2019, 2019 when the COVID started to affect the world, started to affect the during the period 2019, people, especially those from the hotel private sector, they were sent home. They had anything to do at the home. What the government did at the time, they said these people are home and they had a family to take care of. They reach out and they help them to cushion the situation, to make the life not difficult for them, make life better for them. And what you see, what happened again, Mr. Pierre, this NMP government at the time did not send home nobody. They could have sent home because things were bad. People are going home because the hotel closed down. There's nothing. Water coming. So the hotel tells you why even having them workers they working and nobody coming in. But the government at the time see the need and see the care of the people. They still reach out and help them, so that they give them a stimulus package for a certain period of time to help them with their life until things come back to normal. Nobody want to send home. They did not deduct any salary. They still want to reach out and help them. So look at it now. In 2022, there was an election. A new government came in government. They both and said the treasury is pregnant with money. However, the poor people, those who are working for next to nothing, deduct the money came from the salary. Those who are working for big sum, they get him more, Mr. Pierre. I know something. I always remember a story in the Bible with David and Bathsheba, where David has his wife, and David has a soldier in his army. While David should be there doing his duties, David was peeping at Bathsheba, one of his soldiers' wife. And David ended up having a relationship with Bathsheba. He get her pregnant. And what did he do? David was satisfied with that. David put Bathsheba's husband in the front line just to kill him for him to get the wife for himself. So when you look at that situation now, like a man has, like Nathan the prophet said, give David a parable. He said, David, if a man has one sheep, and a man may have two sheep or has a sheep ready, and that man take away the one sheep from him. So Nathan asked David, what David reply and say? That man should put to death. But David did not know that Nathan was speaking to David himself. And he said, David, you are the man. I'm saying, I say that to say, when the poor people has getting next to nothing from government, and you take it away, what they have, a portion of what they has from them, making their life more miserable. And sometimes I have the people speaking about like they see nothing wrong. But they have to remember, none of us are really young. We have to get old. And so we have to be very careful how we treat people. And we have to be very careful what we encourage other people to other people. I don't wish bad for some people, but we have to be very careful. And when you see something wrong happening, you have to speak about the wrong or what is going on. So that's my opinion.
Thank you, caller. Caller, in the month of December, after I listened to the budget, I came to the conclusion that this is the worst budget for people in the lower income group. And then I thought that the budget was a disaster for people in the lower income group. Although some people going to benefit from the budget. I thought there was a clear line of demarcation drawn. And I also declared Deacon as the worst political leader. After 1 year, comparing his first year with any other politician in Grenada, except Maurice Bishop, I thought he was the worst. Deacon Mitchell, in my opinion, is a fake. In addition to that, this is a hardline group of NDC. And as a result of that, they are doing things that no other NDC group have done. And no other political party in the Caribbean have done. But because it's a radical hardline group, they seem to be enjoying it. And my main concern is when this thing come entrenched in our society, it's going to rattle the very fabric in the villages. You're going to see the constant disintegration in the villages. But my God, this is independence time. And there are a lot of people in Grenada that don't know our history. They don't know the story about 1951. When Gairy came on the scene and recognized the deplorable condition that people were working in. Gary's father, I think, was from River Sally, St. Patrick somewhere. And his mother was from Dunfermline. His father was a watchman. And Gairy went to Lafayette School. Never went to secondary school. I think the thing people would remember about him most, he was 12 years old, the priest let him do the homily in the Catholic Church, or someone in the Catholic Church. That would have been unheard of for a priest to call a young boy to do the homily. That priest must have identified or seen things in him that his own people didn't see. He went to Aruba and then started organizing the workers in Aruba. Came back to Grenada and he started the struggle with the union. And we had the massive struggle for $1 a day. The British sent on 2 battleships in Grenada because they refused to give the workers $1 a day. And since they had nothing to eat, and there was a strike, they gave them, don't starve, go and hunt. They told the Muslims, tell people in struggle, you're not supposed to eat meat, but don't starve, eat meat, eat dog. In 1933, Ukraine, under the great famine with Joseph Stalin, they eat dogs and they eat human beings to survive. The struggle in Grenada was hard because we were dealing with an individual that was not recognized because he was a black man, he was uneducated, he was poor, he was from the country. All the things in Grenada that could make him succeed was against him. Never been to Presentation Boys College or GBSS or any secondary institution. And he was black. And he was poor. And he was from the country. And he did not come from any family with any recognition. So the plantocracy, the planters, the journalists then, and the system fight him and nail. He was able to successfully cause $1.25 a day. And that is when the ordinary women of this country, they used to wear bamboo dress. That is why they said, Gairy make us wear nylon panty. Because as a result of the increase in salary, they could have buy nylon. They used to wear telele. It was hard days. They used to live in the barracks And every Monday morning, if one was disobedient to the master, they throw them out of the barracks. The houses used to be on the estate. Anytime they challenge the planters, they had to move with their houses. It was a hard life. Jigger and lies. And Gairy decided that he fought for these people. Even the size of the basket that carry cocoa. When he said they should have a basket no more than 75 pounds, they bring bigger basket. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, caller, welcome.
You said something which I remember in my little boy days. When you used the word bamboo jars, I remember my grandmother used to tie the jars on both sides with a string before she left to go to work. I'm from Paul's in St. Andrews, and she used to work on the estate. You know me very well, Mr. Pierre. You and I went to Bele Government School together.
Yes,
and
my
I appreciate
brother.
what you said in real language.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, my brother. A lot of our modern day bright people, they never know the parents used to wear bamboo jars. They never know that. When you speak about that, you see, we just let a briefcase, a certificate, tie up with history. When we believe we swallow the grammar book, we just walk away from our own parents like Tilaita Data and like the dentist from Piccolo. Identify telescope salaka, La Poterie salaka, River Sally salaka. Some of them bright dons of the day, they don't identify with it anymore. They feel they're too big. So sometimes we must warn them because they are the ones that's selling us out. They are the ones that's selling us out. Our country could have advanced much more. Our politicians try well, but our intellectuals abandon us. And that is the cry. These are the people Gairy fought tooth and nail. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
How are you today, sir?
Great, man.
Yeah, well, wonderful topic. Wonderful topic today.
Welcome, my brother.
Yes, Mr. Pierre. I have one opinion. That the month of July or the month of February should be designated the month of Eric Matthew Gairy. And I say so against the background that he was born in February, 18 February. On February 19th, 1951, he started the first industrial strike in Grenada. On the 28th of February 1972, Eric Matthew Gairy returned to the government of Grenada with a large majority. And now let us take it a step, Mr. Pierre. Now, as you said before, in 1951, our people, I refer to, as you will call them, the women in Telele, checks, and floor bag bamboo drawers, was not eligible to vote. And so, after serious consideration, when Eric Matthew Gairy returned from Aruba in 1949, he started the Grenada Manual and Mental Workers Union. And in 1949 and 1950, the union became a very powerful force in Grenada. So much so that on the Hope Estate, when a woman in an advanced pregnant state was carrying a heavy basket of cocoa and she had to cross the large drain, she was instructed by Gairy to put down that basket of cocoa. And because at that time that estate was owned by city barrister Dennis Henry, Gairy provoked the plantocracy. It is also instructive to note that at that point in time in our history, only 4% of the population of Grenada was franchised. Poor people was unable to vote. And that is why I say today that those persons in the present administration we must look at them as feathers. They are representing plantocracy, and they are taking advantage of the poor of this country whom Eric Gairy defended. These people create two battleships came to Grenada, the HMS Devonshire and the HMS Snipe, to stop these people from demonstrating against the plantocracy for what was right. They were oppressed. They had to work for long hours. They didn't know the length of day for a work. What was the length of day for a working day? And today we must say thanks to Sir Eric Matthew Gairy, who we must refer to as the liberator of this country, who defied the guns of the British and we lost 4 lives: Agatha Fraser, Estelle Fraser, John Duncan, and Eric Matthew. They must be the martyrs of the 1951 social revolution in Grenada, which created what we have today. And to fast forward, in 1967, when Sir Eric returned to office, Grenada was then a state, a unitary state. Not a unitary state, but a state. We attained statehood. And so Eric went to England and asked the British that we should be fully independent because England was responsible for external affairs and defense. The British Eric Matthew Gairy that if he wanted, he must call an election, and that election, his campaign and his manifesto must be reflective that he wants independence for Grenada. And he was instructed that if he gets 2/3 majority of the vote, that he would be given independence. So in 1972, he increased the constituency from 10 to 15 and got 13 of the seats on the mainland, losing St. Patrick West by 1 vote to Wellington Friday. Winston White losing by 1 vote to Wellington Friday. And therefore, 1972 was a referendum election to take Grenada into independence. The plantocracy was very upset that the uneducated, as you would say, and a country boy, a black country boy, would be the first Prime Minister of Grenada. So they used Jack Deere, Hubert Blaise, Ben Jones, and Bernard Cord. They went in England on the opposite side, opposite Eric Gairy and his team, that Grenada should not be independent. But they didn't agree with the people of Grenada. Because even the tongue of St. George, which Gairy never won in an election, even in the tongue of St. George, in that referendum, the Grenada United Labour Party was successful. So it was very difficult for the Committee of 22, led by the then President General of Tau, to stop the independence of Grenada under Sir Eric Matthew Gairy. And we must be cognizant of the fact, all young people must know the struggles that we went through in this country for us today to have to be celebrating 49 years of independence. On a time like not, you are still fighting against the poor people who fought along with Eric Matthew Gairy to Grenada independence. I call them the Don in borrowed feathers because they are fighting for a class they do not belong to. And therefore, I say, as we go forth to the 50th anniversary, let us designate the month of February in the honor of Sir Eric Matthew Gairy and reveal the history of Gairy to those who do not want to accept the fact that Eric Matthew Gairy is one of the greatest Grenadian leaders ever existed. Thank you.
Yes, my brother, thank you very much. Has borrowed feathers. Yes, 28 schools in 2.5 years. Gairy believed in education. He said the answer is to educate our people. 28 schools in 13.5 years. In one meeting, Gairy had to tell his supporters, a bright man is coming from England, he's a lawyer, he's going to come to help us. The early days. But when that man reached on the airport, GNP had a whole entourage of vehicles and they go and collect him. The man living a stone throw away from the airport, he could have taken a grip and walk. But GNP went and collect him, they give him an island tour. And then he went and joined GNP instead. Although he promised to come and fight with Gairy. Uncle Gairy say he's in the right church, but the wrong pew, so leave him alone. Leave him alone. He's in the right church, but the wrong pew. 28 schools in 13 and a half years. When Gairy see the manner in which the people in the estate was treated, every weekend, all the men going and break house, putting up house, because they fire you from one estate. They say Boulong Estate was one of the worst estates in St. Andrews to work. Women had to bend away and advocacy. Yes, caller, welcome.
I listened to the program for the longest while. It's so informative. It should be educative. You know what happened to Johnny Benoit and Yolan Payne Thomas?
What happened to Junie Benoit and Yolan Payne Thomas?
Yeah.
They met in an accident?
No.
Oh. No, I don't know.
When they was laid off from the job.
When they was laid off from the job?
Yeah, you know about that.
I can't remember that.
Can't remember?
No.
You don't RealFM. Try to be real, eh?
Well, you have to, brother, give us information. No make sense wasting time. If you have information, give us. Caller, you have to give us information. Judith Benoit was working in health. Judith Benoit was sent over to the electoral office while she has her job in health. I can't remember any issue with Yolan Payne Horsford and no as a politician. So what you need to do is to give us information. If you have something to say it. We provide opportunity on the program for you to interrupt us at any time and introduce your own subject matter. And when you ask me a question, I'm going to answer you. So yes, 28 schools in 13 and a half years. But I was talking about Boulong Estate. They say any woman couldn't work on Boulong Estate. Boulong was one of the toughest estates in St. Andrews. They said the women that worked there, they had to able to bend away and talk. People used to bring their children, when women are pregnant in particular, they have to bring their children to help them make them the task. On Monday and Tuesday, children and help the parents to make the task. In those days, they used to put 2 pieces of wood and put in a crocus bag and make sling. I don't know if anything is the right word. When you have to put somebody on a bed and bring them in the hospital, and they used to bring them so. So the men holding the sling because the people collapse, and they put them on a bed and trying to reach Granba Medical Station or Maribor. Boulong Estate was one of the hardest estates. That was one of the estates that they came and tell them, men, you have to work. You have to turn cocoa Monday and Tuesday. You can't play job. One man decided to curse the wife, had to scramble him and keep him on the ground to remind him that we're living in the barrack. They go make us go and we are children. Eric Gairy decided, no. We have to have land for the landless. Grenada did what Russia did. Russia did not do. When they had the Bolshevik Revolution, Russia took the land onto the government become the owner of the land. In Cuba, the government become the owner of the land. But in Grenada, Gairy gave the land for the landless program. Even today, Africa, a very small percentage of people in Africa own lands. Grenada have the most land owners in the Caribbean region. 28 schools in 2.5 years. Learn program, pre-education, technical education, Kadrona home for the age, Gairy build home for the age, because he always concerned about the elderly, and build daycare center. The Paradise Daycare Center, the Paul's Community Center. At that time, GNP says a pig pen. They say community center what? Community center for Paul's people. So they call it a pig pen. The name never leave it. The Paul's people never accept that name. They would say Paul's Community Center and GNP would say pig pen. This government formed a cooperative. For years, the community center was not used. More and more people calling it pig pen. The government put a cooperative there. Women alone in it. And now the cooperative is dying because the National Democratic Congress don't interested in it. Prior to the election, there was up in armor, but the community center is not functional and they take it and make cooperative. So the NDC come in power and the cooperatives is dying. In fact, it is on its deathbed. The National Democratic Congress right now, as we are approaching 50 years, 49 years, and as my brother say, they are just done. Every morning you wake up, somebody else loses the job. When a government come in power, they're supposed to do better. They're supposed to make jobs, not fire people. Independence of Grenada, we got it under brimstone and fire. Well, what's about St. George's University? The intellectuals in Grenada fight down St. George's University. They fight down St. George's University. In Parliament, they say the doctors were not even able to practice in Pitimatnik. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, caller, welcome.
They the same people and them that say employment rate is high. Employment rate is high. When they body home, what they leave them to do? A lot of people outside here that walk. They don't have work. Cost of living high. And before you open your mouth, you have some bulo Dover ready for you. Them bulo Dover ready to open them out and say nothing at all. I tell you already, I listen to your program, like educate me. I don't listen to your program for people to tax stripping. People don't listen to people's program to get to tax stripping. I listen to your program and you're educating me. So that is why I don't listen. But when you hear you go on a radio station, you sit down on the radio station, they do over before you open your mouth, Dover ready for you. But then I say if I pick up my phone, I know the police coming for me. Because I'm going to tell them what I have to tell them. Grenada is not only for one man. Grenada is for everybody. And all Grenadians people have to understand. Grenada is for all of us. I find Grenada come for the one set of people. If they move the money, they move the money and put it back in time. Don't let February 15 come back and it don't come back. Don't let February 15 come and it don't come back. That's not, they're not governing country. They say give 650, they're taking on, they give 450 and they're taking on 150 to do what? To do what? Why don't they raise the 650, instead of the raising theirs, and before you open your mouth, them Dover and they're ready for you? Them bulo Dover them, they believe that they're joking with some of we Grenadians. They're about that. Mr. Pierre, enjoy your day.
Yes, caller, and we must not give up. We must be as tolerant and respectful as possible, but we must be very strong and have the courage of our conviction. That's what it takes. It takes a long time. Now the brother said the dons in borrowed feathers. They believe because they have education. They don't understand that the majority of people in Grenada could read and write. They don't understand that. And even if you have a master's degree, it doesn't mean that you're in any particular class. That is what is fooling them. And I consent to say that we had independence of Grenada and then St. George's University. They fight down St. George's University tooth and nail. It wasn't an easy task for this Eric Gairy. And he fought with them. It's more than 20% of the GDP in Grenada. And it is unfortunate and it is sad that 49 years after, we are fighting the dons in borrowed feathers. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes,
Good
caller,
program
welcome.
and very informative on the history of our independence. And I want to say that Sir Eric, we brought independence to Grenada in real hard and tedious time with the pantocrats and the upper, to say the bourgeoisie, fought down our father of independence, where the flag was high under Masanto or torch, how you call it. Yes? No electricity. The ports was closed. And I could remember, you know, the little traffickers and them what went to Trinidad on the schooners, you know, just to bring in sugar and kerosene and gasoline. You basically line up of people because sugar was very important commodity, you know, for our poor people in particular. And I must say, the traffickers in Grenville and St. George's played a very role in United, working with Sir Eric Gairy to bring in the sugar and the gasoline and diesel from Trinidad. Hats off to them. Some of them might be alive still. But I also want to say that those people never in the interest of the poor and struggling and less fortunate in this country. And as you talk about the schools built, the daycare centers right in Dunfermline Day, I know Sir Eric Gairy had brought the Canadian people to finance that daycare center in Dunfermline Day. Miss Brenda Hood could testify with that because she had worked with the Canadian
Can say.
Yes, and there was trying to get water and so on. So it was for the poor.
And the project in Blaise, they damaged all the pipeline.
Yes.
The opposition then damaged all the pipeline.
Yes.
And brought the project back years.
Yes. And you're so correct. Former MP Whipple Ned.
And Nadia Benjamin.
Yes.
And Miss Seppi in Grenville.
Grenville. Yes.
And they malign Whipple Ned and Nadia Benjamin.
Yes.
They attack these two women brutally.
Yes. And Mr. Pierre, you know what some of these people said? So Eric had an album. After this,
they say you have an album of based on blood, and he making sexual videos.
Yes.
They went after these women as
yes.
I tell you, they break under pressure.
Yes, all stood for the poor and working. So we have to keep telling our people, reminding our people, and look at what they have done with Dr. Keith Mitchell and doing with the NNP. But as I say, let's be strong and let's tell the stories and let us, as an independent people, celebrating independence, remember our father of independence. Mr. Pierre, keep up the good work.
Yes.
And bless.
Yes, caller. Sugar went to $5 a pound and gas went to $5 a gallon. And there was two taxi drivers in Grenville. They was stowing gas. And while they pouring out gas, the mother in the house light the fire. The house catch a blaze. And the two young men fight to take out the mother out of the house. The mother died eventually One of the men with fire, there was no telephone because the telephone company was on strike. He drove the car from Grenville to Paul's Airport. And because the fire brigade had to stay on Paul's Airport for the plane. And when he reached on Paul's Airport, he collapsed. And they take the fire truck and vehicles speeding to fight the fire. The guy was able to take his mother out of the house. Beg them, don't take him out from the hospital. Don't move him from the hospital. But in those days, politics play again. The people wanting to prove that the hospital system is no good. So they take a plane and he died on the way. But the other taxi driver, the family believe in Dr. Gibbs and they keep him in Grenada and he survived. These are the stories you wouldn't see in the book. You wouldn't see those stories in the book. During Gairy period, technical education, with the assistance of the Canadians, he pushed technical education. And cultural programs. Each village had so much cultural groups. Today, where are the groups in the school? There are none. No groups in the school. Only PBC school in Grenada that have a choir. Because we have some dons with borrowed feathers. They believe they are dons. They believe that education is for them alone. So they refuse, although the schools are there, but they are refusing to teach the children. 70% of our children live in school without a basic education. This thing is not accident, you know. This thing is not accident. This is because some individuals have a selection system. It has gone worse. We have a fake government in power that decide to prosecute the people in the lower income group. There is a number strong NDC that have lost their jobs. The government is not making new jobs, you know. The government is shutting down opportunities because the government believe that the previous government was giving out handout. So the 10,000 toilet that was built for the poor, they consider it as handout. How that could be? The people in the Imani program, over 3,000 of them have jobs. They have a source of income, an opportunity to further education, and some of them able to get job experience. The government cut the program by 8 million. They said that is a handout. Project Fly, the women who have been people in their home, the caregiving program. The government said that is a handout, so they cut in the program. So they want some Grenadians to starve. But remember what Eric Gairy said, go and hunt. Don't starve. Why is this government so insensitive? And why some of our best intellectual minds supporting this evil in our society? It has been done before. All you have to do is to go back to our history and see the struggle. The first black-skinned person to work in a bank was from Mount Rule, I believe. Because in those days, people trip to go to watch the bank to see a man with black skin work in Barclays Bank. And today, we want to silence the only person, the only political leader after 83 that has assisted the poor and marginalized in the country is Dr. Keith Mitchell. No other leader has done that. No other leader. He's always trying to reach out to the elderly. And I believe the time has come for us to put all politicians that going in power, that running for election under the microscope. Tell us what you believe. Some of them, for personal reasons, they get angry with Dr. Keith Mitchell. Ask them, what is the fundamental issue you against Dr. Keith Mitchell for? They're fumbling. All of them have a personal story. He did that to me. All of them is personal story. None of them could say I have a fundamental issue with him based upon his policy. The only political leader in Grenada, post-independence, post-1979, that seek the interests of the ordinary man, the marginalized people, the women of the country, that concern about the unemployed, that make new jobs, is Dr. Kit Mitchell. He walked in the footsteps of Eric Gairy. And that is why you see he has attracted so much hate. He black too. He ain't come from no top quality family. The difference is he has a good education. He has a good education. But he never forget the ordinary rustics in this country. No other political leader cannot stand up to the quality of this individual. Dick Mitchell, as I say, is a fake. He continues his sanitizing program. So the last group of people I heard about is a man from involved maybe about 6, not much of them. They're going around spraying soursop and treating it for pests. Deacon fired them. What these young men have done. And I promise not to talk about the job that I lost by men, but a woman came to me to say her boyfriend lost her job, lost his work. I saw her face and it broke my heart. I say I will have to speak to him because when I speak, I want it born. I want the truth hurt some people. That they could grumble, but they can't defend it. So he come to me this morning to say he lost his job. His face wasn't looking so broken, but his woman face. If you had seen it, you too would have felt badly. You know, as we come to the end of the program today, we have to know our history. And I challenge you with your master's degree, go back and speak to your family. This is 49, 50 years ago. A few of them is still alive. Hear the truth. Stop fighting for your children to learn this nonsense they call history in school. They lie like hell. Study your history. Speak to the people in the community. Understand that your parents who you think in a good position now, they used to walk barefooted with jigger and lice. Some of them used to have a torch in the house. The women who work in Bulong Estate, they said that was the worst estate. Those women had to able to bend over and talk. You heard about the incident in Hope Estate when Gairy came on the estate and tell the woman put on the basket. That's what the story is. But we know education abandon our parents. That is why yesterday I called on the Minister of Social Affairs. She comes from that era. She comes from the Bulong era. So she ought to know that she cannot turn her back on the elderly. And if you told the minister, the previous minister, the representative Delma, because she said she communicated with you and you re-employ the people, but no, you don't pay them. So don't set up the sister. She gave a word to the people. One would be sacrificed, the other 11 would get the job. But they don't get paid. So we're back with you again on Thursday on Monday between 12 and 1. Our program runs from Monday to Thursday. And remember the extension on Friday with Master Carl. We want to thank you very much and always share our program. That is how the word go around. Because some people are disputing what is unchallengeable. Thank you very much.